Greetings to all our viewers. We are National Import Valuation Database Unit of Sri Lanka Customs, introducing you about the new electronic value declaration form. First of all, we will start this presentation introducing our mission. Our aim is to develop a valuation database for Sri Lanka Customs. The function of a valuation database is to provide referential values of commodities to customs officers. This database will improve the risk assessment capabilities of customs when processing imports. Further, we have several broad objectives. Most important is to curtail losses to state revenue due to undervaluation. Secondly, to support and encourage the genuine importers. How do we make this happen? We will target and reduce fraudulent traders who undervalue goods using this database. So, moving on, what are the major obstacles hindering these objectives? One is poor descriptions. By prevailing law, importers are required to provide sufficient descriptions in CUSDEX in Cage 31. Descriptions should have enough details for us to effectively assess the value. Furthermore, invoices submitted with CUSDEX often have poor descriptions. Second is combining multiple items in CUSDEX as one item. For example, when importing 2 or 3 models of a commodity which falls under one HS code, importers tend to declare it as one item in the CUSDEC. Furthermore, these separate models are often not described in the electronic value declaration form separately. Thirdly, the Asakuda World system previously did not provide sufficient facilities for importers to declare descriptions correctly. This issue has now been corrected. Further improvements to the system are being processed. As a whole, incomplete, inconsistent, or vague data cannot be analyzed effectively. This makes it difficult for us to process this data without extensive processing. Let's look at some examples. These pictures show some of the poor descriptions submitted to Sri Lanka Customs. As you can see here, the description air conditioner 9 BTU is meaningless. A customs officer assesses its value without mention of attributes such as brand of the air conditioner, model the air conditioner, and other specifications that decides the value. If you want, we can give lot of examples. Take a look at this last picture. This is a value declaration form of an importer, and see how he has completed data. The data of the value declaration form is missing or incomplete. This happens all the time. So why does this matter? As mentioned before, incomplete, inconsistent, or vague descriptions make it difficult for Sri Lanka Customs to assess values of import goods. Revenue loss to the state is obvious, but this delays the process of clearing goods of the importer. More importantly, it becomes difficult for customs to identify compliant traders to facilitate processing of CUSDEX. For importers, this issue is very significant. Firstly, get informed that providing sufficient descriptions has always been a legal requirement, although it has not been rigorously enforced. Due to requirements of the state, Sri Lanka Customs aims to become much stricter on this aspect. Secondly, availability of detailed descriptions will speed up the clearing process for importers. Thirdly, and importantly, additional details provided to customs will be used to curtail fraudulent traders who undervalue their imports. Hence it will promote fair competition. So let us introduce the most recent changes. As you can see, the image on the top shows the previous commodity description table in electronic value declaration form. This format was used to be in Asakuda World. It is changed now. Take a look at the new commodity description table. Now you can mention item description, brand, or producer, model, and specification. For those who are not familiar with the electronic value declaration form, the item number in the first column should refer to the item number of the CUSDEC. In the second column, you see a column called line. How do you fill it? Suppose you have 3 separate models of a commodity under one item number in the CUSDEC. Then you have to insert 3 lines with same item number describing the goods precisely. Then what do we find here? Item description, brand/producer, model, and specification. How do you fill these details? Yes, we have the solution. It is detailed in guides called HS Guide and General Guide. We will explain more in the next slide. Then, you find the quantity. Quantity of a particular item should be noted in the same unit of measure as the item in the CUSDEC. Next column is country of origin of the particular item. Then in the invoice value column, the importer should mention the portion of value of the commodity as per the invoice. Values should be declared as per Schedule E of the Customs Ordinance. It's usually the transaction value. In the additions column, you should declare all additions that are not included in the invoice. These additions are detailed as adjustments in Article 8 of Schedule E of the Customs Ordinance. Examples are royalties, packing costs, container costs, and so on. So, as a rule of thumb, the electronic value declaration form should have the same or a greater number of lines as the invoice. This will be checked individually later. So let me introduce the HS Guide. The HS Guide is a document prepared by National Import Valuation Database Unit. We have currently considered 28 revenue-sensitive items across 88 HS codes. This list will be expanded as we process more data. You can access a temporary guide through the official Customs website. For the ease, you can follow the link provided in the description. Please keep in touch, the website portal will be launched later this month. This is how you will see the HS Guide. This will show the minimum descriptions expected by Customs when you declare goods. Download the temporary guide and read it through for more details. This is the General Guide. The General Guide has been prepared for all HS codes for which a specific HS Guide has not been prepared. It categorizes all commodities into 3 categories. They are, finished goods, semi-finished goods and raw materials. Under finished goods, there is a subcategory for machinery. You can access the General Guide through the Customs website as well. Here is an example of the General Guide. Please note that at the end of the presentation, you will be provided a full demonstration. If you don't know any abbreviation used, we have provided a catalog at the end. Here are some examples. Demonstration Part 1 for the use for HS Guide. To start off the demonstration, let's take a commodity with the HS Guide. As shown, I have opened 3 windows. The document in the left side of the screen is a sample invoice. The top window shows the HS Guide of TVs greater than 32 inches. The other window shows the electronic value declaration form of Asakuta World. In this invoice there are 2 items. Although they fall under the same HS code, you are required to describe them separately in the electronic value declaration form. Firstly, enter the corresponding item number of the CUS deck in the first column named number. Then enter the line number as 1 in the next column. These 2 fields allow you to separate commodities which you may have combined in the CUS deck. As indicated in the HS Guide, you are supposed to specify the physical type of the TV in the item description. As this TV is a normal TV, we will mention TV in this field. As per the invoice, the brand of the TV is Samsung. Therefore, we will enter Samsung as the brand/producer column. If this was a generic product without a brand, you must enter the producer name. In a rare case when the commodity is an original equipment manufacturer item, you may specify that. In an unlikely situation where you are unable to identify any of this information, you may state, data not available. In the model column, enter the model number as noted in the invoice. Enter the model number as it appears in the invoice or manufacturer documentation. Avoid adding unnecessary spaces, dashes and so on. The specification column requires detailed information about the commodity. So you have to refer the HS Guide. The first attribute is whether the TV is a smart TV or not. Since this particular TV is a smart TV, you are required to state smart in this field. Before entering the next attribute, enter comma and a space. This format should be followed when entering data into the electronic value declaration form. Since the screen size is 55 inch, that data should be entered next. As you can see, the prescribed format is followed. After that, attributes LED and 4K is entered. So we will enter LED and 4K. These are the panel type and the resolution. The following column is country of origin. We will say that this is from United Arab Emirates. Then select the code and enter. Then comes the column for the quantity. The quantity should be mentioned in the same unit of measurement that is prescribed CUSDIC. So you can enter 200 here according to the invoice. As mentioned before, invoice value should be the portion of invoice value for the given commodity. Additions column should be filled as explained before. In this instance, as you can see, there is a royalty fee. For this example, the royalty fee is for Samsung. Therefore $1,000 should be mentioned in the royalties here. For the next item follow the same format. In the line field, indicate 2, as this is the second item corresponding to the same CUSDIC item number. So the item number is 1 and line number is 2. Then we will fill the other details as necessary. Then the item description is TV. Then we have brand producer. It is Sony. Then the model. We can find it in the invoice. You can enter that here. Then specifications column. You have to follow the protocol as mentioned in HS guide. So first it is smart, then add a comma and space, then it is 40-inch. Add a comma and space. Then we enter LED. Add a comma and space and then the resolution as 4K. By clicking this icon, item will be added. Demonstration Part 2 for the use of General Guide. Remember and make a note, you can use General Guide only if you don't find your HS code in the HS Guide. The next example commodity is light soda ash. Since we have not developed an HS Guide for this commodity, it's required to use the General Guide. Soda ash is a raw material. As such, the instructions of raw materials under the General Guide should be referred. You may read it carefully. So according to this invoice, this is item 1 and we have only one line. So I insert it here. In the item description you are required to mention a simplified product name. As such, state soda ash. Since there is no brand, you may enter the producer. You may enter what we see here. ABC Company according to the invoice. As mentioned in the General Guide, for chemical compounds like soda ash, C as number is available. So you can enter the C as number as demonstrated. So it is CAS number 497198. In the specifications column state RM as the first attribute as this is a raw material. This must be included by you. After that, you should enter all attributes which has an impact in the value of the commodity. In this example, form of the soda ash, its packing and purpose is stated. These attributes are powdered, 50 kg bags, glass manufacturing. As you see that this information you can follow it. Powdered, 50 kg HDPE bags, finally glass manufacturing. But you must fill this with care. We recommend you not to get noticed by declaring false information. Then enter country of origin. Okay, we may enter this. Then quantity, it is 5. You can put 5 here. Then amount, it is 1,300. Then there is no additions. So we will mark it 0. Our next example is zippers. It's a semi-finished product. Then you can turn to the page of semi-finished goods in the General Guide. Read what is described in the guide for more details. So this is item number 2 and the first line of the item number. So it is 2 here and 1 for the line column. Then for the description, you can mention zippers in the description column. In this example, this commodity does not have a brand. As such, the producer is mentioned. So you can enter ABC Company there as per the example. Furthermore, there are no relevant information for the model field. Therefore, the term, not applicable is used. In the specifications column state SF as the first attribute as this is a semi-finished product. After that, the material of the zipper, length, and the used industry is stated. Then we have to type the attributes here. These attributes are nylon, then you have to enter 70 centimeters and then the industry used for. Garment industry. The next fields should be filled as we demonstrated earlier. So we will enter the country of origin. Then quantity 10,000. Then declared amount 1,300 and then there is nothing to be added to additions. So we insert it as 0. Then you can add the item by clicking this icon. The final example is wine glasses. It's a finished product. So we can read what's included in the General Guide for finished goods. This is our third item. So number is 3. Then the line number is 1. We will enter it here. In this example there is a brand and a model. We can mention wine glass as the description. I just copy and paste. Then we can get the brand or producer. I will copy and paste it here. So it is Amalan crystal. Then we have model. We have some numbers here. Therefore, these can be filled accordingly. In the specifications column state FG as the first attribute as this is a finished product. After that, the material of the wine glass, production method, size, and a special feature is stated. These attributes are FG, 17 ounces, lead-free, dishwasher safe. So we may enter the details. FG then comma and space then 17 OZ then comma and space then lead-free then comma and space then dishwasher safe. You are free to state whatever attributes that impact the value of the commodity. The next fields should be filled as we demonstrated earlier. I will put country of origin here. Then quantity I will put 250. Then we have declared value. That is 587.50. Then the additions we don't find anything so we will put it as 0. Then add the item here. We think you have learned a fair amount of details at the demonstration. Once the website is launched, you may find the guides with more convenience within the portal. The interface for HS Guide will look like this. You will get search features for faster use. The general guide will also provide similar functionality. VDF guide will be used to explain how the electronic value declaration form is filled. Please note that these changes to the electronic value declaration form are results of long-term policy decisions. After an initial grace period, importers who continue to submit poor descriptions will be penalized. Therefore, starting to declare import commodities correctly is mandatory. HS Guide and the General Guide will be updated and expanded. NIVDU welcomes collaboration with stakeholders. If you notice any issues or possible improvements to the HS Guide, do not hesitate to contact us. Your assistance will not only assist customs combat revenue loss, it will help us facilitate you. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for updates.